students, parents, teachers, good evening. First of all, a very warm welcome to all of you to the faculty seminar series. Today, we are honored to have a number of heavyweight professors from the Faculty of Humanities to share with you the new features in our undergraduate programs and also some tips how to get into those programs in this faculty. My name is Professor Shen. I'm the Director of Global Engagement. Our office is responsible for coordinating the recruitment, both locally and internationally. So let me introduce our speakers tonight, starting with Professor Li Ping, the Dean of Faculty of Humanities. Professor Li. And we also have Professor David Li, Head and Professor, Department of Chinese and Bilingual Studies. We have Professor Eric Friginal, Head and Professor, Department of English and Communications. And also Dr. Dennis Tay, Associate Head, Department of English and Communications. Okay, so welcome, professors. And before I hand it over the time to Professor Li, let me give you a brief outline about PolyU. Okay, many of you know this is the 85th anniversary. And you can see our aspiration. We are PolyU, together we excel. So over the last 85 years, PolyU has nurtured more than 400,000 graduates, and they have made significant contributions to the development of our society, and many of them already became senior civil servants and top executives in private companies. And what you see at the bottom of these slides are those outstanding PolyU alumni awardees in 2021, and you can see we have legislative council members, we have top servants like Secretary for Information Technology, we have CEOs of private companies like Henderson Land, etc. And we have 6 faculties and 2 independent schools. This is the structure of our university. And this evening, we're going to have a Faculty of Humanities to share their programs. Okay, PolyU is the only university in Hong Kong with the experience in international space mission. We have supported the nation's first lunar sample return mission and also the nation's first Mars mission by using our advanced technologies. In terms of international ranking, we are number 66 internationally by the QS World University Ranking and 91 worldwide by the Times Higher Education. And we have also introduced new features in our admission starting from the coming academic year in order to broaden students' perspective to meet the changing need of our society and also to provide more flexible progression pathways for our students. We have adopted this so-called departmental scheme-based admission, and we have added artificial intelligence and data analytics, innovation and entrepreneurship as our general university requirement, and students can choose secondary major in the area of X+ scheme. I believe the deans and the head of the department will share more details with you later on. Now, I also would like to share with you, we do support whole person development. In order to do that, we have integrated education, which enable our students to have practical working experience before graduation. This is a compulsory element. I believe our university is the first one make this compulsory. In order to have this component, we have created a lot of opportunities for our students, including overseas internship opportunities. We provided trainings. We also provide a lot of guidance in terms of career and events. Here are some employers of our students through the WIE, Work Integrated Education. And many of these companies offer places for our students. And they also actually recruited these students after their graduation. Service learning is another compulsory element in order to develop our students' leadership skills, their teamwork abilities, community engagement, and social responsibilities. Here are some examples of the service learning project. You can see local and non-local projects. We also encourage our students to have a global experience. For example, we have academic exchange agreement with 250 leading universities worldwide to enable our students to spend 1 semester abroad. And we also have clinical placement, summer school at Oxford, Cambridge, etc., and summer research abroad. Okay. In terms of student services, we have an excellent health clinic on the campus, counseling services. We have academic advising for every single student, and we do have excellent accommodation for our students. So we do have various merit-based entry scholarship, not only for those students with academic achievement, but also for non-academic excellence, for example, music, sports, etc. Okay, so that's my brief overview about PolyU. I will pass the time to my colleagues to share more about humanities. Now, if you do have questions, please use the Q&A box below to type your questions. We will answer your questions towards the end of the presentation during the Q&A session, okay? So put your questions in the Q&A box, not the chat box, okay? So, okay, let's pass the time to Professor Li, Dean of Faculty of Humanities.
Thank you, Professor Shen. Thank you, all the students and parents. I'm very pleased today to have a chance to talk with you about the Faculty of Humanities at PolyU. And this faculty is where language, communication, culture, and technology converge. And our Faculty of Humanities at PolyU plays a very important role in what Professor Shen earlier on introduced with regard to whole person education. We play a very important role in this respect. We put our students at the center of our concern. And because of this, for example, to the top left of this figure, we have one student today who will talk with you, Ms. Ho, who has recently won the most outstanding student award at PolyU. So we're very pleased to put our focus on our students, and you will find the Faculty of Humanities as well as PolyU a very welcome place for future students. Our faculty is a dynamic place for studying humanities and for understanding what it means to be human. The diversity and complexity of cultures, languages, histories, and philosophy. And you will get a chance to meet our team when you come to visit or come to study. So we are a relatively young faculty as compared with many other faculties at PolyU. We were only established in 2008 formally, but our history went back a long time to the 1970s. We have over 30 years of experience in nurturing professional communities. Currently, we have 5 departments and centers. 2 of the departments will have programs that many of you will be interested in today. We have 4 research centers and over 216 faculty members. in terms of international rankings, our linguistics is ranked 10th in Asia and 55th in the world, according to QS. Arts and Humanities at PolyU is ranked 16th in Asia and 130th in the world. Our overseas partner list keeps growing, and we have signed many MOUs and currently have exchanges with 33 universities and provide internship opportunities in 12 different cities. And recently, we are aiming at establishing speech therapy as an undergraduate study domain. And the Secretary for Food and Health visited us at the end of last year. And I think this will provide additional opportunities for students to study speech and speech therapy, highly demanded market in Hong Kong. Also, in terms of career trends, I think if you come to study at the Faculty of Humanities, you will gain a lot of experiences in bilingual and trilingual experiences. And as we know, bilingual and or trilingual candidates are very high in demand in today's society, as the figure on the right has shown you. And also, Professor Shen earlier introduced the notion of a secondary major in AR and data analytics for our undergraduate students. And you will also get a chance to become familiar with AR and data analytics through our programs in the Faculty of Humanities. Our undergraduate programs feature the BA in Linguistics and Translation and the BA in English and Applied Linguistics. There are some strengths in our programs if you come to study. I mentioned that we have already over 30 years of experience in nurturing professional communicators. We have an excellent teaching team with internationally renowned scholars and teaching award-winning academics. You will get a chance to listen to them, attend their classes in the future. We are a major contributor in Hong Kong to the world-leading and internationally excellent research outputs in the domain of linguistics. We have 15 faculty members who are fellows of Hong Kong Academy of Humanities, also including members who have other high-ranking and esteemed affiliations. Our teaching team comes from over 20 different countries and regions, and we are a very diverse international group of people and teachers. We have a flexible curriculum structure, which will allow our students to undertake minor programs and go on overseas exchange, for example, at the University of California, Berkeley, at the University of Manchester, and the University of New South Wales. We have also recently developed dual degree programs with the Shanghai Jiao Tong University, which Professor David Lee will probably mention to you later. Let me just give you two examples very quickly to illustrate what we do, what our teachers do in terms of their research. For example, we are developing a social robot for Cantonese and Mandarin speaking prosody training in children with autism. And Professor Chen Si is the leading scholar in this domain. This is the first social robot designed to improve speech prosody for children who suffer from autism. And the robot will be programmed to provide targeted speech training. As a second example, I also wanted to illustrate a recent project supported by the Hong Kong Jockey Club, providing $49 million to our department, to scholars, so that we can study kindergarteners and help them to learn Chinese. These are the kindergarteners who come from South Asian countries, including Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and other South Asian countries, such as Philippines, India, and so on. And in this project, we try to combine the research and practice together through a model we call school, home, and the community, so that we can better help young children who are of South Asian descent to learn Chinese, both speaking and writing much better than they can currently do. And the Hong Kong Jockey Club saw the merit in our project and provide a big support to the funding. We also have world-class facilities. For example, we have Brain, Language, and Computation Lab that develops virtual reality platforms so that we can teach foreigners to learn Chinese better. We can teach Chinese students to know English better. We have a Speech and Language Science Lab, Speech Therapy Unit, and the Center for Translation Studies. All are equipped with the state-of-the-art language laboratories. So if you are interested in finding more details about our faculty, about the programs we have, about the people that our programs host, and about the curriculum or curricular studies that you may be interested, please feel free to get on our website. Just Google PolyU Humanities, or get on the Facebook, or send us email inquiries. So with that, let me stop here and hand it over to Professor David Lee to introduce further details about their program. David.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Li Ping. Now let me now share my PowerPoint. Okay, now and then in the broadcast mode. Now, good evening, everybody. This is David C.S. Lee of the Department of Chinese and Bilingual Studies. In about 40 slides, I would like to walk you through the key features of the program offered by CBS. I'd like to begin and remind ourselves of the PolyU motto, which is bilingual, to learn and to apply for the benefit of mankind, and 開物成務，勵學利民. Now, a few quick words about CBS. We are the department who characterize ourselves as a leading academic department that studies Chinese and its interaction with English. We address real-life language issues in bilingual societies and academic programs underpinned by research, meeting societal needs. Our mission statement, we groom professionally trained graduates and equip them with transnational vision, creativity, and advanced communication skills in multilingual and multicultural work settings. We conduct high-end research on Chinese in a bilingual context, but also bilingualism in a Chinese context. We incorporate modern views and methods in applied disciplines such as these. We provide professional services to meet societal needs, not only locally, but also within the GBA, the Greater Bay Area, and also beyond elsewhere in the world, by engaging in consultancy projects and other forms of community services. Now, let me just briefly introduce our various programs. Undergraduate programs, you have two, BALS and BALS. BALS stands for BA Scheme in Linguistics and Translation, which is open this year, 22-23, and BALS is a top-up degree targeting the HD holders, the diploma holders or associate degree holders. We also have three minor programs, Japanese, Korean, and also Linguistics and Translation. And then for those working professionals, we offer taught postgraduate programs, and there are 6 of them, as you can see here. And naturally, being an academic department, we also offer MPhil and PhD programs. Now, these are some of the characteristics of CBS research strengths. We separate them in 3 broadly defined areas: linguistics and applied linguistics with these sub-areas, and then translation and interpreting, our traditional strength, and then Chinese language teaching and communication. By that, we mean teaching and learning Chinese as first language or second language, but at the same time, as our dean has briefly mentioned just now, we also specialize in teaching Chinese to so-called non-Chinese students, especially students born in Hong Kong, but of South Asian descent, Indian, Pakistani, and Nepali. In terms of some of the evidence of our, strengths, we offer services and knowledge transfer, and these are some of the details, and that include, for example, we offer speech therapy consultations. We offer public seminars, and then many of them since 2020. And this is more recent. Ultrasound for swallowing management research. People across the age range, many of them, they suffer from one form or another of problems with speech, including swallowing. And then this is one of the areas we specialize in. And we offer research and service projects for NCS students in Hong Kong. We are fortunate to be supported by the Education Bureau in our application for the Gifted Education Fund, in that we do many things, essentially to try to identify bright students, secondary school students, and then groom them. Among other things, we train them up to become more linguistically conscious and aware, and then to train them, coach them to take part in the Hong Kong Linguistic Olympiad. And I'm very happy to say that in the past year, we were able to train a small group of students who then represented Hong Kong at the International Linguistic Olympiad with, flying colors. They came back with very, very impressive awards. Okay, I'll be brief on these kudos, meaning awards won by some of our staff, including in KT, knowledge transfer. Our dean has mentioned just now that this department, where we have graduated a student who has been given the honor of being the most outstanding PolyU student award in the 2021, just the past year. And in Korean, we have strengths. We have students who participated in competitive events and won an award. Then we have miscellaneous best paper awards, and then scholarships. These are at the bottom. You'll find a number of areas where our colleagues, academic staff, have won recognition through donations such as Hong Kong Jockey Club that you heard, and then various awards to support their research. And these are some of the names or titles. Then we also have Health and Medical Research Fund, European Union. These are all names of, the funding bodies that have recognized our strength and then awarded us with various, research projects. And then we also, naturally, as an academic department, we organize conferences, international symposium and forums, and these are some of the examples in the past year. Now, at the bottom, you see cultural exchange events. This department has two minor programs, Japanese and Korean. They are among the most popular. And then we run campus events, Japanese and Korean, every year. And they have been immensely successful. Okay, now then the scheme-based admission 22-23. This is the scheme title, Linguistics and Translation. And Dr. Lee and Dr. Wu are respectively the program leader and the deputy program leader. The JUPAS code is clear. Our emphasis is on biliterate and trilingual proficiency development in the context of Hong Kong. Trilingualism refers to these languages. The focus area is very straightforward, linguistics and translation, but with additional priorities in the, providing training to our students in ICT, as well as other digital tools needed for a career in a language professional. This is a predecessor. I'll be brief because previously we were called BACBS with very similar focuses here, ICT, digital tools such as these are below. Now, for admission 22-23, we've got two routes. One is the 4-year regular curriculum, year 1 to year 4, targeting DSE students. And then the second is the senior top-up degree for those holders of higher diploma and associate degrees, and that would be for especially non-JUPAS. This is a recap of the core skills and the academic focuses, which I think is straightforward. And this slide gives you an overview of the curriculum, compulsory subjects. I will not have time to go into the details. You can maybe form an impression. And then the similar page, but this time it is electives. Again, linguistics as well as translation, interpreting, and then communication. So these are some of the examples of elective subjects. Now, secondary major mentioned by Professor Sun just now. BALT is no exception. We also offered a secondary major option, and then we opted for ADA, which stands for Artificial Intelligence and Data Analytics. So what we do is, if students are interested in developing or working towards a secondary major, what it means is that they will need to work extra hard. 36 credits extra in order to obtain the qualification that is on their transcript. It will say this student does not have only a major, but also a secondary major, BALT plus ADA. Okay, now dual degree, also mentioned by our dean. Now this is new, beginning only from September 22. What it means, briefly, is that there is an option for the students admitted in this cohort to work towards what we call a dual degree, which means it's still a 4-year program. But imagine at the end of 4 years, you get not just 1 degree, but 2. The first one from this university, which is BALT, B-A-L-T. The other one will be from Shanghai Jiao Tong Daxue, right? This has already been firmed up. And students with an interest in this will see this as an additional option for them to consider. But please pay attention, 23-24, that is about 18 months later, we will have a new scheme briefly mentioned already, which is another degree path, which is BSc in speech therapy. A second new path will be BSc in language sciences and analytics, in addition to the one that we're offering this year, which is BALT. Okay, now Japanese, Korean, these are 2 minor programs, very popular as mentioned. I'd like to highlight that for BALT students, there are no quotas. In other words, as long as there is a will for our students to take either Japanese or Korean as a minor, they can and they will be able to do so. Now, why study in CBS? Well, these are some of the obvious reasons. Our high ranking in linguistics, traditional strength in T&I, and then our speech therapy unit, which allows us to conduct not only research, but also provide clinical services as well as clinical education. Now, these are some of the faces that you'll find when you visit our website. I won't have time to go and introduce every one of them, but they altogether represent strengths in a wide range of research topics for which we have won recognition. As mentioned, for example, the many research awards, grants that we have been given and provided to, in a sense, to help them do their work through funding awards. For them to be successful, obviously, we need the very important support of state-of-the-art experimental facilities and labs, briefly mentioned by our dean. And then this is the social robot that you heard just now. We also offered a very successful master's program in speech therapy called MST. Now, this is a few snapshots of our SLS lab facilities. And this is the STU facilities that I referred to, combining 3 things: clinical services, education, and research. Strength in translation and interpreting, the following few slides, I'll be brief. This is a list of staff. You see 8 faces. They are, among the top scholars in T&I in Hong Kong. And then the facilities related to T&I training. We have simultaneous interpreting lab, for example, interpreting and digital language lab, speech and language sciences lab. Another snapshot concerning the classrooms where the T&I training is conducted. And in terms of our students, outreach activities, outreach and exchange is something that not only this department, but the entire PolyU emphasize a great deal. So there are lots of resources to support our students, and CBS included, to go outbound exchange. And among some of the countries, where our students have been to, they include UK, USA, Canada, Australia, Singapore, Japan, Korea. And then there are also many internship placement opportunities in Hong Kong, mainland China, and overseas. And not to forget also the overseas summer research program, for which there is funding. The university provides generous support for this. And among those that CBS students have attended, they include U of Chicago, Boston U, and University College London. And these are only 3 of many others that we can mention. Now, some of our students, those who are inclined towards conducting research, they are coached by our supervisors, and maybe a small number of them will be able to co-present their research projects along with their supervisors. And so this is one of the pictures showing a student exactly in that condition or situation. We also have students winning, getting awarded, being awarded a prize in international competitions, including interpreting competitions. Professor Sun mentioned workplace integrated education is not just CBS, is the characteristic of PolyU. We are a leader in this area. And as far as CBS is concerned, these are some of our partners. Now, and this is a partial list only, of course. And CBS mentorship scheme, every student is mentored by a staff. In other words, we help them identify their future career paths, their career inclinations, and then help them to towards success. And these are some of the pictures we have taken. Career prospects. So in terms of the question, in what areas do the students land, or in terms of the areas in which they excel? And these are some of the disciplinary areas where they are able to find jobs and get employment. These are some of the employers of our students. This is a partial list. Further studies as well in a number of areas such as these, and these are some of the institutions at the bottom. Further studies after graduation, we've got different possibilities. Admission details, just to highlight, this coming Saturday, Dr. Wu, Deputy Program Leader of BOUT, will be hosting one such consultation, and those who are interested are welcome to join. And now I pass the time to our most outstanding PolyU student 2021, Ms. Ho Hiu-man. Hiu-man, please.
Thank you, Professor Lee.
I'll stop sharing here. Right.
Okay. So, good evening. I am Ho Hiu-man, and it's my honor to be here and share my journey as a CBS student at PolyU with you all tonight. So I wonder if you have visited PolyU before. If yes, do you still remember when was the first time you visited our campus? For me, the first time stepping on the PolyU campus was the time when I was 10, watching a Cantonese opera performance with my mom in the Jockey Club Auditorium at PolyU, 香港理工大學賽馬會綜藝館。咁左上角咧就係當時我留落嚟嘅演出單張啦，同埋嗰張飛尾。咁其實喺我幼稚園嘅時候，因為一次機緣巧合咧，俾老師揀中咗喺畢業典禮度參演一個折子戲之後咧，我就開始愛上咗粵劇啦。因為一開始咧就覺得佢嘅頭飾啊同埋服裝好靚，但係咁自此之後咧，我就同我媽媽 同樣都係一個粵劇迷嘅媽媽，就去唔同嘅劇院嗰度去睇粵劇演出啦。咁可以話係越睇越中意啦，因為後尾就發現，哇，原來粵劇除咗啲衫好靚之外，啲曲詞都非常之有意思，同埋佢可以俾我放慢腳步，透過台上演繹嘅歷史傳奇故事去反思自己嘅生活，從而去更加認識自己。咁作為一個觀眾，我已經覺得粵劇可以俾到我好大嘅得着，但係好無奈地我身邊嘅同學咧都對粵劇好反感，咁我就覺得好可惜。咁就去到高中嘅時候啦，相信同各位同學一樣，要開始諗生涯規劃嘅時候，我就開始確立咗要保育同推廣粵劇文化同埋其他香港文化遺產嘅呢個目標。咁雖然我有一個好明確嘅目標啦，但係其實當時大學選科嘅時候都係有啲迷茫嘅，因為我其實幼稚園之後我就冇再去學演戲啦，然後即使參加咗戲曲中心嘅導賞員計劃，又發現自己其實唔係太擅長做導賞員喎，咁一直都唔係太諗到究竟除咗粵劇演員同埋導賞員之外，我仲有啲乜嘢方法可以去有效地達成呢個目標。咁我當時大學選科就純粹係因為覺得自己嘅語文能力比較強啦，同埋對於語文方面嘅科目比較有興趣，就揀咗 CBS 啦。咁即係中文及雙語學系。咁我其實好感恩當時自己冇揀錯啦，因為 CBS 開始嘅科目係非常之多元化，有 linguistics 啦、translation、speech sciences 等等，咁就俾我從唔同嘅角度去探索更加多保育同推廣粵劇文化嘅可能性。And apart from academic learning, I have considerable room for exploring and developing my skills through different exchanges and extracurricular activities, with the goal of preserving and promoting the cultural heritage of Hong Kong. In 2019, I participated in the Peking University Summer School, 北京大學暑期學校, to gain more knowledge on cultural preservation with the example of the Ultimate Palace, 圓明園. And back in Hong Kong, the PolyU Artist in Residence program, 駐校藝術家計劃, provided me with the precious opportunity to meet with the expert in the Hong Kong Cantonese opera industry, Dr. Lisa Wang, 汪明荃博士, whose versatility and sharing have greatly inspired me. And I also got the chance to initiate a service project under the Global Student Ambassador Program, namely Quotes Pharmacy. And people usually think that it's very difficult for a humanities student to get a job or get an internship. But I don't agree with that, because as a CBS student under the Work Integrated Education component at PolyU, I completed an internship at IM Youth Portal, IM 青年職學平台, and Hong Kong Film Archive, 香港電影資料館, respectively. And I would say that the gains in both academic and extracurricular learning have helped me learn more about myself, reaffirmed my aspirations, and offered me guidance in the possible roles I could take to achieve my goals effectively. CBS always offers us an encouraging learning environment, and during my studies, I met lots of supportive academic staffs and peers who gave me confidence and courage to challenge myself and compete for scholarships and awards. And without the encouragement of my faculty and of my department, I would not have been awarded these scholarships and the most outstanding PolyU student award this academic year. 咁最後我想講嘅就係，其實我都係一個考 DSE 然後通過 JUPAS 入讀大學嘅學生嚟嘅。咁我相信各位同學依家呢個階段都一定唔多唔少會覺得好迷茫啦，亦都會接收到好多外界嘅聲音同你講邊啲科目係好，邊啲科目係唔好。但係其實我覺得最好嘅科目係你既有能力去應付，同時亦都係你真心最有興趣嘅科目。所以當你接收到好多外界嘅資訊嘅時候，不妨都嘗試聆聽自己內心嘅聲音。And I believe that if you enjoy learning language subjects at secondary school, CBS is definitely one of the best choices for you. So this is the end of my sharing, and I hope to see you around on campus very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Lee and Ms. Ho, for the sharing. Next, can we invite Professor Eric Friginal, Head of Department of English and Communication, to share some insight about the department, please.
Thank you, Professor Shen, and thank you also to Ms. Ho. What a great inspirational message to our participants tonight. And thank you to Professor Lee as well. My name is Eric Friginal. I'm the head of the Department of English and Communication, and I'm so happy and honored to be sharing the evening with our speakers tonight and with you all, parents and students and teachers as well. Our program is Bachelor of Arts in English and Applied Linguistics. And once again, we are the Department of Applied Linguistics and Department of English and Communication here at PolyU. We are just like CBS, a major internationally focused department. And our mission is linguistic excellence in professional context. Many of you are wanting to speak and use English in professional communication. And that's what we specialize in across the board, across various contexts and settings, where English is highly utilized in professional communication. We are very interdisciplinary. We are linguists from all over the world and also communication experts. I'm not going to bore you with the names and pictures in here, but as you can see, we represent various countries globally. And these are amazing researchers and teachers. I invite you to take a look at our website to learn more about these amazing researchers. And every single day, I work with these amazing researchers, and I'm just so honored to learn from them and hear their experiences. And that's the same experience that you will learn when you join our department. Again, we are representing over 20 countries from all over the world, speaking English across different first languages, across different experiences. And that is a major strength because we are a leading group of leading international scholars that make life very interesting for all of you as you utilize English in various professional settings. Just really quickly, a brief description of our teaching and research areas. And later on, I'm gonna be turning it over to my colleague, Dr. Dennis Day, who will be focusing on some specific admission and requirements that we offer. One thing that we really value is language and professional communication. It could be focusing on teaching and learning. It could be focusing on very, very specific areas of linguistics. So we are in an English linguistics area. So if this is something that inspires you, that's something that we can provide you. We have experts in these areas as well. One area that you might be interested is media and communication. And media includes the internet, social media, and what happens globally when we utilize many of the platforms that are available to us. And also intercultural communication is something that we focus on. This is a strength of us here in Hong Kong and here at PolyU, that we focus on intercultural communication, primarily with the notion of like knowing cultures as we communicate, utilizing English or other languages in understanding business, in understanding negotiations with political or law or various historical implications. That's something that's very important if we understand how people utilize language across various goals and purposes. And we are very proud, that's what you already heard from the previous speakers tonight, about our rankings. We are highly recognized in English linguistics. If you can take a look at this slide here, some of you are familiar with this prestigious universities in the US and the UK, and we gave an example. Yale University is a private university in the United States, and we also have University of York in the UK. And we are, based on our current ranking, we are number 55. And so we are along with major universities in the world when it comes to what we do in English linguistics and how we show the world how good we are in terms of our research and in terms of our teaching. I'm not going to be naming all of our awardees here, but you can take a look at our staff and the awards that they have won over the years in teaching and in research. These are just some of our recent award winners based on their scholarly activities and teaching over the last few years here at PolyU. This means that you all, when you join our department, will be learning from these experts. And they are not just really expert, they are award winners as well. And that's just an amazing opportunity for you all to learn and experience education from them. We have been publishing a lot. This is a department that is so proud and honored of the many publication accomplishments that we have across different topics, across different areas, especially in areas that we focus on in professional communication. We also have received many awards related to research funding. And, in general, very similar to what you already heard tonight, it's something that we are proud of in our department and also in the faculty, meaning that we are doing very, very groundbreaking and cutting edge research in language education. For us, the focus obviously in English. And as you can see some of the titles of the book here, it's mentioning areas such as psychotherapy and dementia and powerlessness and repression and online place branding. So all over the world. And again, I'm highly proud of what we have accomplished over the years and sharing these professional activities with you. Just like Ms. Ho, we also have some of our students who have won prestigious awards here at PolyU over the years. And I'm going to be highlighting for some of you who are interested in what can I do with a degree in, from Department of English and Communication and in applied linguistics. What is that? What's in it for me? Well, there really are so many applications. One thing is you can continue with your graduate school education. We have many master's applications and programs that you can do, and then obviously later on a doctorate degree. But take a look at some of our recent alumni and what they have done. These are obviously just 4 of them, and we have many that we can name. But I'm highlighting Freddie Law, who graduated in 2007, and he is a co-founder of a Hong Kong-based app called Stories. It's something that I think many of you have used already before. It's a walking tour app that you can use and download to go all around Hong Kong and many other cities as well. And Freddie won our 2022 Outstanding Young Alumni Award in Entrepreneurial Achievement in our department and also in the faculty. So that's one major application of an alumni who mastered our English studies and at the same time applied it to something very technical and very important in our day-to-day, because many of us can download and utilize it. We have Justin, who is a lawyer, obviously utilizing his training in English and then going into law school. We have graduates who are also now professors or instructors, like Mariah Chan, who is at Hong Kong Baptist University, and Abby Cheng is a digital strategy at Google. So many of these things are applicable to some of you who are interested, who are passionate about English, who would like to learn more about language and communication, and that's something that we specialize. So we'd like to have you in our program, and we hope that you will be joining us. Please reach out to us if you need more information. And in the meantime, I want to turn it over to Professor Dennis Tay, who is with me. I'm going to be sharing the screen as well with him. Dennis, if you can join us.
So thanks, Eric, for introducing the department in more general terms. And my name is Dennis. I'm the Associate Head of the Department of English and Communication. And I'm here to give you a bit more details about, the bread and butter issues regarding our flagship undergraduate program, which is called the Bachelor of Arts Honours Scheme in English and Applied Linguistics, BAEAL. So the main objectives of our program is threefold, actually. So first of all, at the most fundamental level, we want to equip students with a high level of competence in the English language. But that doesn't spell the end of the story, because a high level of competence is only pertaining to the way you present yourself, but we also train students to analyze the language, to understand the theoretical principles that allow students to get a deep insight into how language actually works in the mind, in society, and so on and so forth. And after acquiring this knowledge, our third objective is then to help students learn to apply these skills in a variety of real-world settings, in professional contexts, as well as beyond. So some of the main points of the BAEAL program: first of all, it's a 4-year full-time English major degree program. And if you are among you, there are some aspiring English language teachers, for example, you'll be glad to know that our program is one of the few that are endorsed by the EDB of Hong Kong. And what this translates to in concrete terms is that with a degree from our program, your degree will be recognized directly by EDB in your pursuit of further qualifications, which will make the pathway towards your dreams much easier, right? Because of this official recognition. Some statistics: in the previous year, the average DSE admission score for our program is 20.1, and this is counted on the basis of Chinese, English, and best 3 subjects. So this will give you some kind of benchmark for you to consider, right? And our program, very importantly, emphasizes practical skills and subject knowledge. Being part of PolyU, it is inherent to us that we will emphasize more on practical knowledge and application. So the Department of English traditionally may conjure up connotations like, oh, it's a program about literature or about medieval historical aspects of English, but that is not true, because we are not your traditional literature or English studies department. Instead, we focus on communication as well as data analytics skills for today's digital economy. As my previous colleagues have already mentioned, this data analytics component is something that we are very proud of as well as we move forward together with the university's mission. Okay, you'll be glad to know that prospective English teachers are offered very attractive scholarships from the EDB. We have had these scholarships for a very long period of time now, and both local and non-local students are entitled to apply for these scholarships. We have many examples of students who succeed and proceed to have very fulfilling careers in the education service. And besides these scholarships offered by the EDB, we also have Faculty of Humanities entry scholarships, and Professor Dean Lee has already mentioned some of these opportunities. If you have outstanding DSE scores, as shown on the slides, you will be entitled to these scholarships, and this makes our program very attractive, in my opinion. So what is the bread and butter of the BAEL program? So we have 3 what we call focal areas, and it is flexibly customizable in the sense that our students, besides completing subjects in all of these areas, they have the scope to choose to tailor their electives, to tailor optional courses in any permutation of these areas depending on your interest. So the 3 focal areas are what we call language sciences, and the second area is global communicative competence, and the final area is English for professions. So as you can see, language sciences aims to equip our students with a firm foundation of the scientific and the theoretical principles that underlie the use and the comprehension of the English language. So some of the example subjects include, right, structure and function of languages, language in mind and society, speech therapy, forensic linguistics, how to use language to solve crimes, right? And also computational linguistics, right? Global communicative competence is really interested in training our students to not just master English, but to be aware of interactions with other significant global languages and cultures to pave the way for them to pursue international opportunities. And we have courses in Spanish, German, and French, which our students find very interesting. And we also open these courses to students from across the campus as well, right? We have courses in English and Chinese, academic and technical writing, and we have courses to train students on developing the savvy in intercultural communication. As Hong Kong is a robust international city, these are very fundamental and important aspects of our program. And finally, of course, being centrally focused on English, we also have specific courses to enable students to master the use of English in professional context, business context, and healthcare settings, language teaching and learning, and so on and so forth. So I would say that these 3 focal areas provide our students with a broad coverage of all the fundamental areas that define what it is to be a language and communication professional. Right, here are some of the study options. I won't belabor the details. I won't go into details about number of credits and so on and so forth, because all this information is publicly available on our website. And also we are open to email inquiries at any point of time. But essentially there are 4 options if you're interested in pursuing your studies with us. The first option is basically a single discipline major where you complete, your degree program and you graduate with a Bachelor of Arts and honors degree in EAL, right? So that's like the most kind of focused option. The second option is to declare a minor plus a major. So a lot of our students, for instance, and there are no limits to this. So some of our students, for instance, major in English and minor in Korean, or major in English and minor in accounting, or even physics. So the possibilities are endless. It's only defined by your own imagination and your own willingness, right? The third option is actually a double major. So our sister department, CBS, just presented their program, and actually you can opt to major in both our programs. Of course, this would mean it is more academically demanding, but some of our students find this to be a very palatable option as well. They major in both English as well as BALT, as was introduced just now. That is also a possibility. And the last option, as the professors before me have already talked about, is, of course, to choose the secondary major in AI and data analytics. So you graduate with a Bachelor of Arts honors in English and Applied Linguistics with a secondary major in AI and data analytics. So some of you might be wondering, what does English or what does language have to do with something that sounds very computer sciencey, right? So you might wonder how it is related. In fact, let me tell you that it is intimately related, because you might have heard of terms like computational linguistics, natural language processing or NLP, or words like, savvy buzzwords like data analytics. So actually these things are intimately linked to the study of language. And there are many high demand applications in society, in industries today, which require you to basically apply these data analytic techniques, right, onto the analysis of language data. So just to give you some examples, you might have heard of something called sentiment analysis, whereby you are actually processing through a large database of language data, for instance, customer reviews. And using computer technology, you are learning to extract linguistic features that allow you to predict whether or not a sentiment is likely to be positive or negative. And also you might have heard of things like regression, clustering, classification. All these techniques are actually applicable to linguistic data. For instance, how to classify text into different categories to aid in applications like spam detection. When you receive an email, how do you know whether it's spam or not spam based on automated computer language analysis of data? So when you study with us, you get the opportunity to learn all these courses as well. Students will learn how to analyze both verbal data, which is our kind of like traditional, traditional expertise, but also numerical data and their integration, right? You will learn programming skills. You will learn how to implement these techniques in Python, in R, and Python. So some examples I've given: Google and Apple are actively hiring language engineers, and our students have access to these opportunities. All right, so this has already been mentioned just now by various professors. Again, the three pillars, I would like to call them three pillars of the PolyU experience beyond the classroom would be WIE, which is like our version of an internship that is compulsory, service learning, which is also compulsory, an opportunity for our students to reciprocate and give back to society to the less privileged as sectors of society, both in Hong Kong and outside, and student exchange, which is optional but highly preferred by our students. So these are just some snapshots of our students going to highly reputable international companies, right, and also to top universities around the world, and also going to the more underprivileged sectors of society to help them in things like teaching of English and so on and so forth. Our students find this to be a very rewarding experience. Okay, some of the career prospects of our graduates, you can see at one glance, multiple sectors, various opportunities. And this is not just me spewing out a list of opportunities, but this is based on actual data collected from our graduates. They thrive in various sectors. Eric already mentioned a few exemplars, but these are some of the other sections like corporate communication, HR, translation, civil service, advertising, just to name a few. Okay, so to give some facts and figures regarding the prospects of our graduates. So PolyU conducts graduate employment surveys on a yearly basis. And this is some data that reflect how our graduates are doing. Our graduates enjoy an above average monthly salary, and this average is computed across all graduates in Hong Kong, across all institutions, right? And they also have a very high employment rate, 94% within the first 3 months of graduation, all right? And, like I mentioned just now, a wide range of employment sectors. So it looks very promising, right? Our students enjoy a very promising start to their career, right? Just some facts and figures. The top 3 careers by earning capacity, these are figures from our students, right? Our students go into administration, management, teaching, sales, and marketing with considerably high starting salaries compared to the Hong Kong average. Okay, I've already talked about this, and the high employment rate is something we are very pleased about as well. So I'll not take up too much, excess time, because I'm aware that the entire session should have been wrapped up by now. So if you want more information besides the Q&A session that's coming up, you are very welcome to engage with us on our social media, on our website, where you will find many more details beyond what the two of us can cover in a short time today.